Hi, everybody, and oh my goodness, my friends Chip and Tony. Chip, we go back, I'm thinking it's close to 30 years ago that we had the pleasure of being in Tahiti together. What a wonderful experience with another company. And also, Tony, it's got to be over 20 years that you and I have known each other. And there's a lot of time, a lot of years in between when we first met and what's going on right now. And I just look around and I'm just thrilled because Avini, in many ways, is a family reunion, a gathering of old relationships that we used to have. The founders of the company, we've got Mickey and Neil and Rick. These guys have been together for 30 years in various undertakings, and we all play well together. We like each other and united in this great cause. So many complementary things that are going on right now. And this is the right place to be, right time. And boy, if you want to make a big difference in the world in a positive way, this is where you want to be. And I think you would agree with that. And I want to hear your story and why Avini, why now, and why you, whoever is listening to this, you ought to join us and have a lot of fun and make a big difference.
It's a large group that's gathered this morning, Dave. I think you have quite a following out there. Avini's a big idea that can change the world. And each time we start a presentation, including this one, I think, what do we need to do to make this be the most important time you've ever spent on a Saturday morning? That it can change not just your life, but thousands of others just with a simple idea. Most of the work we do is over the phone. We get calls with humans in all kinds of situations. There is trouble in the humans. Did you hear about it?
There's
Some of them
nothing.
are sick and some of them are broke and some of them are lonely. There's trouble in the humans. And amazingly enough, Avini is a place to go to resolve a lot of those problems and to be more of yourself. I think about, I'm going to do a little exercise here with Tony in a second, but I think about for myself personally, when I work with a company like this that has healthy products, I demand that I get a better version of myself. So as we've been going along, one of the questions we ask people is, are you going to have a summer of 2026? So you and I had a great summer of 1995 going to French Polynesia, someplace right in that area. But are you going to have a summer of 2020? And everybody has a little look of realization on their face, and there's some smiles and some looks of concern. If you are, wouldn't you like it to make it the best summer ever, better than last summer, and each one thereafter? And this is where we come to accomplish that. This is where we come to accomplish the intent for me is to be better at 76 than I was at 75. And I'm quite sure that I'm on a trajectory to do that. We'll know when they throw me the ski rope the first time. It's a little test. There's some interesting tests that come along the way when you hang out with Tony. I call it it's very revealing stuff. She does a lot of exotic healthcare practitioners. I'm sure some of you are on the call this morning, and I seek to learn these things and to see what you do. And I call it more revealing than naked. If you get a blood test or a dark field microscope, or you do a bike ride or a road trip, or colon hydrotherapy was yesterday, it's more revealing, and you want to be healthy. So if you're preparing yourself for these moments, some electronic body scan that shows everything about you, or just your summer of 2026, wouldn't you like to be at your very best? So setting out to do that, this is where we come to do it. We believe that Avini is a collection of the most powerful ideas, many of the most powerful ideas. Every time Avini brings a product forward, and we're about to do it again at the convention, we will lead the world. We believe that this product is the ultimate product in the world in that category, or creates a new category. So here's our quick little exercise that we're going to do. Tony and I have different styles working in the presentations. We're going to do a little presentation for you, but we're going to ask each other maybe observation of our style or why we admired the other one. So would you start?
Sure, sure. Okay. And think about these qualities when you're screening for people that you're looking for. Maybe see and qualify your people to look for some of these qualities, because obviously success breeds success, and there is evidence of it when you identify it. In Chip Littlejohn, What I see is a committed gentleman, a completely committed person who loves biology. He loves to understand what makes humans tick and what makes humans the best that they can be. And he's always looking to up that game, but not just for himself, how to offer that to others. He's a profound listener. He listens with great intent. And whether he hears whatever he hears, he's going to pull and extract the best quality of that person and spin it so they are recognized for that quality that is best and uplift them. So, all the while, sending a new message, something profound that they haven't recognized before. And if it can make them better, then he's happy to bring that forward. It's wonderful. His commitment to this is never ending, and he's done it for many years.
And Avini, of course, is the structure by which you can do that for your work. My simple explanation of network marketing is somebody has a big computer somewhere that's keeping track of each order. And one of the goals is to have the most income to the distributors and the most rank advancement for each order that goes out. That was always one of Marcy's key things. She looked to watch the structure and strategy, and every time an order is placed, it creates all kinds of new opportunities, especially like on the last day of the month here. When I'm watching Toni, that's one of the things. And Marcy and I had a chance to talk about the future, and we knew I'd be in trouble. We knew that I was pretty much a classic network marketing product guy and dropped off the end of the world at the end of that. And I needed someone who is structurally and strategic thinking. And when I look at, and she said, okay, go to Robin West, go to Toni, they'll take care of you. I've worked with them, we've trained each other. And so when I look at Toni, I see a massive action woman, and I watch her schedule and her effort, and I realize that it's driven by a huge appetite for life, a huge appetite for life, wants to do more, be more, take better care of herself. What are we marketing to people? An opportunity to take better care of yourself. That's essentially what we have to offer in Avini. And yesterday, she sees things from a 30,000-foot view, but acts on a local level. She has the opportunity to recognize, and I want to thank Sharon Buller and Doug Dickey for bringing her to Avini. And that moment when Doug laid down the compensation plan and it fell in the pancake syrup at the train station over here, and she saw it. She had enough experience doing this kind of work that she looked at that one page and saw that the new people would create income. It's one of the things that's most difficult to achieve in a network marketing company, is to have the brand new person when they sponsor someone. And if someone in Avini sponsors someone, the reward to them is
Generous.
It's wonderful. And right now, even more wonderful. So it really is a special moment. And I recognize her traits. I know what my strengths are. Thank you all for using me for three-way calls to help with people who need help. That's my world. But the way I always said it with Marcy was, I make friends and she makes business of it. She could do it all. She could make the friend, tell the product story, build the business. And that led over the years to have your respect and Neil's respect, Rick's respect, and be named as the master distributor. And I essentially had the opportunity to go on a hunt and find another one. And it wasn't a far look. I knew exactly where to look. Then I pretty boldly struck up a gigantic conversation, and that we don't have time for that this morning. But I will say, with big decisions, Providence does move, and that's our theme today, with big decisions. And we're asking you today, consider making a big decision. Wouldn't you really rather do this than other work? I think about being a team leader in special forces. Every day I practice to do stuff nobody would want to do. That was my job. Here, if you join us, you get to do what does everybody want to do. If you start asking people, what do you want to do? I'd like to help people. I'd like to be better myself. And that's exactly what we get to do. That's our work here. So with that, I think we'll start out and have a little run at our presentation. And she's the lead. We take turns.
We take turns.
We take
And
turns.
supposedly today it's my turn to start, but
Oh, one cool thing in our style, Toni tends to move through the group. She walks around in the group and carries signs and stuff and interacts with them. My style, at least on this trip, was I'd go up and lock in up on wherever the podium would be, but from there interact with the people. So the common denominator, you're always looking for the common denominator. The common denominator was we both want to try to personalize what we're doing to the audience we have. And we know we have Avini enthusiasts and people who are looking at Avini as a potential company to join. You maybe know it's your career and you want to get better at it this morning. The things we're about to show you were created for a booth in the area of Grand Junction, Colorado. So this has been a booth. And so that's why we have the props. We had these props and then we improved it as we went. So here it comes.
all right. Hi, everyone. Oh, this is fun. All right. So you're wondering where the secret sauce is. It's coming up here.
Secret sauce.
We're excited that you're all here today, and we're thrilled because, as Chip has shared, what would it take for this to be the biggest decision of your life? And we're here because this gentleman behind us has created an innovative technology that is actually changing lives in a positive way. And we're here to explain that because look at this man. This is biochemist Rick Deitch, the category creator of what we're talking about today, which is Avini Health Company. We're all here because of Avini Health. And without his expertise, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have this wonderful product, leading with Cell Defender. There we go. Are we in the camera? Thank you, Dave. Yes. Woohoo. Amazing product. It changes lives and so on. I love how this works out. Yeah, let's do it that way. So we have no order in this, folks. One of the things I love to bring up to the audience is the question, just the general question. What do you think it takes to be healthy? What do we really believe? What have we been taught all the years? And usually, and we want to allow for the audience to tell us what they believe it takes to be healthy. And so they will usually answer daily exercise, of course, going to the gym, getting out and walking, maybe riding your e-bike, as this gentleman does. And you, Dave, getting that proper exercise. All right. Most people will answer eating healthy or eating organic fruits and vegetables, making sure that they avoid sugars and high fats. And then finally, proper supplementation if the food is lacking. All three of these things, plus things like good sleep, good water, these are answers that we get. Our comment is that even doing all of these three things can still create a situation of damage. And we can still get a pink slip from the doctor that says, sorry to break the news to you, but XYZ. Dave, you've received that message, haven't you?
No fun.
It's not fun. Okay. So we made up a list. This is a list of and by the way, people asking, where did it come from? I actually made it. I just put together a file. I put the words together and I took it to my local FedEx and said, could you please make these banners for me? They designed it. They have the PDF. People are asking. So I'm just saying it's there. But toxic killers, aluminum, mercury, arsenic, lead, cadmium, benzene, volatile organic compounds, VOCs, carbon monoxide, my friend, right? Hexachromium 5. I always mention, anybody remember Aaron Brockovich, the movie? All right there. Asbestos, pesticides, radon, antimony. Just some are listed here. And we're using this as a visual aid to help prompt people to recognize that these are toxic killers. And then, but wait, there's more. If you act now.
Usually, by the way, Vanna White is played by an audience member and it's also read by an audience member. So we get participation that way. So here's Vanna White.
Okay, Vanna, thank you for raising. That's perfect. Okay, so we get the toxic results. Diabetes, cancer, asthma, dementia, inflammation, autistic spectrum, psoriasis, allergies, bone loss, hair loss, parasitic load, reproductive issues, and many more. These are just some of the things that can come about as a result of those toxic killers that we had the first sign. Thank you, Vanna.
So you can make a little bridge there. When we're representing a healthy product, we can't make those claims, but we can point to the poisons and say that they cause these problems. Then we can point to our ingredients and we say this ingredient removes those things and that ingredient is in our product. So the proper languaging and the structure to be legal and make these powerful presentations is there. Next one's too big, so I'll have to move it around a little bit.
Okay. This one is a really powerful impact. We talk about where do these things come from? Where are they coming from? And I will just point straight up and say, has anybody looked at the sky lately? It's pretty loaded. So I'm going to help him. Okay, let's start off with, you pull that one that way. So we're looking at, all right, the first thing is, I love this one. I say, hey, everyone, isn't this our organic lettuce field? Probably on the package it says washed already, go ahead and eat. But why are these men in hazmat suits? I find it interesting. Just a food field with spraying pesticides on them. If we move this direction, okay. Go ahead and take that corner up there, sir. Okay. We just point out that industrial waste pollution blows up into the sky, and there is no barriers on our planet. Things that happen in Japan find their way all the way to the milk in New York City. So air pollution from any source, and I do grieve for those on the East Coast that have prolific amounts of factories. But while we were on our tour, we saw lots of factories in Nevada and Utah. And then finally, all of it lands in our water, which, again, what we eat, what we breathe, and what we drink. So, isn't this fun? We think the visual impact that these things make while we're helping to explain the contents, and then Chip comes in with a really great demonstration with.
But I think everybody knows what that is, right? That's a filter out of one of those big wet and dry vacuums. I bet you've done this if you own one of those wet and dry vacuums. Hot tub pukes and it's on the basement floor and you come running in there, you grab the wet and dry vac and you start sucking it up and you realize you did not take this filter out. All of a sudden it gets packed with mud and you realize, oh, I got to take it out. Now the water becomes the filter itself, but we are filters. The point here is we are filters. We are picking up the things out of the environment. So are the trees, but then the trees burn and we get it. So are the fish, but the fish get it. And then we eat the fish and we wind up being the things that are cleaning the filter. And essentially what Rick has come up with is a way to clean an uncleanable filter. We are very difficult to get the stuff out of. It's like the mud. It's like it went into us wet and it can't come out. It's stuck in there. The nature of this is it makes it possible. Obviously we can't replace what we do, but I think sometimes it is a blessing, death and renewal by the next generation. But within our lifetime, we have to run on the filter we get in the first place. And so I think that makes a pretty powerful point to just say we are the filter in the environment. We do get stuff in us. It builds up through a lifetime. That vacuum is going to lose performance gradually and get worse and worse until it really isn't even a vacuum anymore. Same with us. We begin to lose function as a human being and we begin to diminish until the point that we feel like we're not even ourselves anymore. And so those are some of the props that we've used to make a big point in a real short time. I have one other prop that I'm not going to do the whole demo, but I'll ask Toni to speak about. It's pretty powerful. It's improved a lot in the last few days. We don't have the whole thing yet, but.
Okay. So we'll try and make this very simple. This is a toy. Thank you to Kathy Hurlin, who improved on my idea of putting grommets and washers in rice and then dragging a magnet through it. These are toys
bingo tips are part of them. And then little magnetic
Whoops,
balls.
there we go. So I think it's difficult, but imagine just
They represent the trouble.
these are the trouble. These are our magnetic representing our toxic killers. And we lay them out on a stretch, and I would say that this is part of our circulation, part of our immune system, because this is where they reside. After years and years of accumulation, it's not mouth to backside, it's not mouth to exit. The removing toxicity, thank you, Chris Bruce, for pointing out that yesterday that when we eat something and we expel, that's the toxins we've just consumed yesterday. We're actually pulling out the toxins we've accumulated over years and years. And so by simply administering our Cell Defender multiple times a day and now offering the idea that after you urinate, take another dose, it acts like until the crystal of Cell Defender is full and it leaves the body. And like a filter, it works better. Awkward on this demonstration since this is a Zoom, but it is part of the props and it becomes really helpful for people to recognize the action that Cell Defender has taken. And then we allow for
The kind of big idea to bring it to life, to make it visual. We're wanting to make things that people can easily relate to and understand. And so each time that you go and you take part of it away, one of the main points is there's still trouble left in the tissues. We're able to get it out of the body fluids. The next time you use the product, then it gets a little bit more. And the active ingredient Detoxolite will never enter healthy cells. It only cleans up around them. And so then by concentration gradient, the poisons move into the solution. The next time you use the product, you're able to clean it a little bit over and over until you gradually get to the point that you're near your optimal. We want people to be the unlimited version of themselves.
So Dave, we see there are some questions. Is there anything relative? Because I can't read it we can't read it here.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Good morning, said. Great visual. Those are the questions. I'd say comments.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, this is very good. Sign me up.
Super. Super. You know, something you asked, Dave, why Avini? Why now? I think there's never, and we agree, there's no better time in history than right now. Through all of our technologies, the conveniences of our cell phones and our computers makes life convenient, but it also makes it toxic. And we have a world that has numbed us that we have this challenge. So part of our mission is to awaken the people one by one, waken them, address that there is a solution. There's only really one solution. And I love that I'd heard Chip say it's probably the greatest technology in the next 500 years. Is that yours?
A lot of people find different ways to say it, and we watch your language. We pick up some of these concepts from you guys. One of the things that I've been working with lately is think once and get an answer, think twice and get a better answer. And Avini is a think twice kind of a thing. If the first answer is we're going to have to hurt you to help you, and the second answer is, hey, we could help you to help you, wouldn't you prefer answer two? And Avini is essentially Rick Deitz's lifetime of answers to that question. What could we do to help people to help them, even in dire circumstances, even when their life is on the line? Wouldn't it be possible to bring control back to yourself that was given away? We think about when you're really sick and you get a prescription, that requires a doctor, a diagnosis, a prescription, and a pharmacist. Why are all those things there? To protect you from the ill effects of the treatment, to protect you from the danger of the treatment. That's not here. This is in the hands of common people, and yet we're able to go into pretty much every situation that a human has and help them. When you get cleaner, the old thing that Rick says is a clean, healthy body fixes itself. I like to play with that a little bit because I like the high performance side of it. A clean, healthy body works great. And if it's broke, it fixes itself. So I really like the people who are maybe seeking, maybe you're an aging athlete and you don't want to give anything up. Then that's the way.
I
I
love
did want to,
the idea of a treatment. Okay, treatment. The best treatment would be something where you come out of it actually better than when you went into it. And in fact, it's so good that you think maybe I'll just do it anyway. That idea of may you never know what you're preventing. You don't have to wait till you got the problem. Just maintain that, because the ideal amount of mercury or aluminum in your body is zero. It's just a little bit is bad, more is worse, and yeah, we have a lot of enormous capacity to handle the stress of that, but why put that there in the first place? Somebody does have the question, they were fascinated with that little wand with the magnet. What's the name of that toy?
Oh my goodness. It literally is Magnetic Toy on Amazon. Magnet Mania by Simply Science.
Oh,
there's the
okay.
package, Magnet Mania by Simply Science. That's the, that has the little balls in it. And then the other ones, the flat ones, those are actually bingo chips that have a metallic circle around them.
They
So,
come with it.
oh, they come with
It
it.
comes with it.
Okay. So pretty clever and creative, and it makes a point really well. Something that you could do at a booth or at a demonstration or in a live, it plays better live. And the other thing that Kathy Herlin improved it, she took the stuffing, the little plastic beads out of
Beanbag.
a beanbag that helped. She works in premature babies. She has 40 premature babies she takes care of every day. If you can imagine, that's what it's like where she works. And these little bean bags had plastic filler in them that were little tiny beads. You could use other things. And she puts that in, then she has a container representing your body, and then there's poison in it. You drag the magnet through, and it picks up so much. Now the magnet's full, but there's still poison in the beads. So you drag another one through, it pulls that out, and there's still poison in the beads. You drag another one through. And the other point it makes really beautifully is when you drag the magnets through and they're completely full, that's what the other people's products look like. They're already full. They can't pick up anymore. It makes that point really well, I think, beautifully, don't you? So you can get a lot of great lessons out of that little demonstration. And I guess I wanted to just push a little bit harder on the summer of 2026. You know, what if you just start right now? You want to be your best when you get to conference in 2 weeks. What if you did every right thing you know at once, used your products a little bit more consistently to get all the goodie out of them, did your exercise and your diet right? What if you just said, if somebody said, hey, do you want dessert? And you answered, gee, I'd love some, but I'm actually in training. They're going to ask you, in training for what? In training for the summer of 2026. I want to have a great summer this year. And this is part of what I'm using to do it. Starts the conversation. Most people, people respect being in training. And I've used that a long time. I'm in training for next summer.
I love I love the statement that nothing tastes as good as thin feels, and
There you go.
that just ask yourself, do I want to put this in my mouth? And I remember Rooster Cogburn, John Wayne, and a thing that stuck in my mouth because he was just drinking all the time, and he offered this young girl a drink, and she said, "I would not let a thief in my mouth to steal my brain." And I thought, wow, yeah, because everything we put in our body, it affects us, how we think and how we feel, and we want to just optimize. And oh my goodness, Avini is a way to really optimize. And you talk a lot about, Chip, that getting ready for an event or something like that. Let's say you are presented with a diagnosis that you're not excited about. If you were going to follow them and do that, you'd want to be in your best shape. You would be able to handle that better. But I love the idea that perhaps Avini could be a standalone product. But regardless of what you're doing, in any circumstance, if you're on Earth and you a human being or a cat or a dog or anything else, this stuff will make everything work better. This is just, wow.
I said, maybe I ought to say, but I said this was going to be one of the most powerful presentations you've ever experienced in your life. If you incorporate into your life the things that we've said, you will be different. You will have attributes of a younger you. And just to bring it to the moment, and this is the first time Toni and I have been on Zoom together, what if you were 75 and suddenly alone? pretty shocking. And your skills were like mine, and they had big holes in them, and you counted on a powerful, upwardly mobile, hardworking woman to complete your life. And I rest my case. I rest my case.
I actually would like to spin this a little bit back to Avini, if that's okay. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Avini. Thank you, Avini. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Dave, and I don't know how our time, but I do want to bring up the point, why Avini, why now? We see so many people, we come across so many people that are working two jobs or working to try and make ends meet, or maybe they're in a crisis situation, and it breaks our hearts that they don't have plan B. They don't have something tucked away to rescue them out of that situation. And when we have this wonderful vehicle that is a financial, the size of Texas, just giant, that we know it's important that we're patient. It's important that we help relay ideas enough to explain that this is a method to change their life. And it doesn't happen overnight. It does take patience. Yesterday, we just brought in a new couple, a new woman. Took her a year to make the decision. We know now, with what she's accumulated over time, this will it will change her life. It really will. Our products and our vehicle will change her life. Was it easy to be patient for a year? It's worth it. It's worth it, because who will she touch? And we know that our compensation plan in Avini is so unique that it's being recognized by leaders around the world. And that's what is attracting them. So we're running with that premise, and we're going to keep emphasizing that fact. So we're excited on that.
So I guess the punchline, big decisions, Providence moves. There is a day in front of you. You're going to be glad that you made this decision to join Avini and take better care of yourself. That's not a hard thing to ask for. Would you like to take better care of yourself to be ready for some upcoming event? That's what we do.
This is the day. This is the day you can shine, and why not get in your A game? And we've got the stuff to do that. Also, just to preface maybe some Q&A here. Avini, we've got some amazing products. My very favorite products I've ever worked with of all the years I've done this. But the FDA, they don't recognize these as medicine or anything like that. And we don't make medical claims or prescribe or treat or anything like that. However, with Chip having a high degree in poultry science and being a biology person, not a doctor, but probably the best student of Rick Deitch, followed specifically Cell Defender for 20 years, you've got some ideas and you've helped a lot of people. And so with that, maybe some questions. Several people are asking, okay, you take this, and I think one of the fascinating things is you put this in your mouth, moments later, when one drop has about 200,000 little micronized, submicron sized particles of this activated clinoptilolite. It's just very unique. All of a sudden, all of these little tiny particles are going around wherever your blood is going and grabbing bad stuff and taking it out. Just absolutely elegant. But, okay, the blood-brain barrier. Rick has been asked that a lot of times too. What can we say about that? Nobody's actually done studies, but we found that does seem to help people with brain problems. So that's the big thing, but I don't think there's a conclusive study with that.
So that is the correct question. Do the benefits extend to the brain? And yet we believe that the product does move, but we know that the poisons move out of the brain. We know that by what we observed. And Rick did propose a trial to prove that the detoxolite crosses the blood-brain barrier. In order to do that, you have to harvest the brains of the lab animals and basically find the zeolite in there, find the detoxolite in there. And you know who you are listening today. Some of you were just shuddering at the thought of killing the lab animals to harvest their brain to see if there was detoxolite in there.
Including Rick.
Enough of us think that he decided not to do the study just in recognition of you. So when I get that question, I say that it's not really does the detoxolite go in the brain, but do the benefits go to the brain and do the poisons leave? That we know. We can observe the effects, dramatic effects. All neuromuscular degeneration either is or is made worse by heavy metal poisoning and VOCs. Take that statement and blow it up even bigger. I think all dysfunction of humans either is or is at the very least made worse by the presence of heavy metals and volatile organic chemicals, and that's what we're able to remove. So when people start to get better, some of it is direct. It's because you removed it, and some of it is indirect. You're able to tolerate whatever is left because you're cleaner. You take the load off of your kidneys, and your skin and your lungs and your heart and your liver. You take some of the load off. And if you look at our product lines, they're designed to even further help the gut and the liver and the brains and the eyes and right down the line. And so you will find, usually people say, when does it start? How long does it take? Begins immediately, like Dave just described. When you take the drops, the very next time you urinate, you're passing poison. You could replace it right then. And it continues indefinitely. It really is hygiene. It's as though you got a toothbrush and didn't have one before. And you should probably quit using your Avini products on the same day you quit using your toothbrush for the same reason.
That's right. Several people are enamored with your visuals. And how can I get those? You mentioned you just took them down to a local printer. Maybe you could make some PDFs and put them on WhatsApp, or I think what would really be good is AviniHealthTraining.com is have a place with the PDFs of that, and then they can take them to a local printer.
They'll have to be located because they were redone several times. So I'm just encouraging people to be creative. It was a simple creation of concept. In my mind, I thought, if I put these pictures together and I took the idea to the printer, this is what I did, guys. I took the ideas to the printer. They actually printed them up. So I don't have that, but we'll see if we can locate what they used. I did ask them. They destroyed what they had. So we'll see. We'll try and find them.
Okay, thanks.
I want everybody to have, these are really useful, and it does spark conversation. So yes.
We saw that question coming and we really don't have the solution. We didn't have time to prepare it ahead of time. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right. I think that's mostly what we've got here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us on, Dave.
Yeah, this is fantastic stuff.
And we're excited to see everybody in Summit in 2 weeks. We will see you there.
If you're wondering about coming, something will happen there. Maybe the person sitting next to you. It might be you that's sitting next to someone, and them talking to you is what turns their life to good. I remember people who I heard their story in the early days, and it just compelled me. I began to discover what all this would do. I didn't have any idea it would do all these things. If somebody was old and losing their mind, if they were young and stopped developing, if they couldn't process sugar and kept eating it, if their cells turned against them, if their immune system collapsed, if they were hypersensitive to everything, if their guts didn't work, if their eyes weren't right. I had no idea that it would do all those things. I realize now that Avini really isn't just another thing. It's one thing that changes everything. And in the world of marketing things, if you can find that, and that's the product you have, not just another thing, but one thing that changes everything, isn't that a powerful position to play from? And then you go into a marketplace that is bit on the misdirection. There's nothing more powerful for a marketer than correcting a known misdirection. And the humans have bit on some big bunny trails and spent all the money going down them. And here we can come in inexpensively, bring the control back to you, and make all the differences.
I love that. Every day, probably all of us are on the phone talking with someone, and a common question is, will Cell Defender help this or that or whatever? And I always tell people, let's see, I'm real close to my computer. Let's type in that problem, and then we'll add heavy metals. Oh my goodness, there's a really strong, alarming connection to that. And so you don't have to say anything. We don't say, this will cure this. No, it doesn't. You just think, okay, of all the myriad of different diseases, you could really accurately say that all of them are just cellular malfunction. You know, whatever the name of that is, it's malfunctioning cells in a particular tissue or body system or whatever. But if all of those cells were functioning properly, there would be no disease. How do you have healthy cells? As you mentioned at the very beginning, drink plenty of pure, clean water, sleep well, eat right, exercise, all of those things. But equally critical, don't give your healthy cells bad stuff, and then they won't be healthy. So give your body what it needs. Don't give it what it doesn't need. So Avini is all about out with the bad and more in with the good. We got really good stuff to add to your body too. So
Everybody listening, you've listened to the three of us speak this morning, and we're people that are on the phones talking about Avini. This is the kind of languaging that we use all day, every day. If you pick up some of the little phrases, if some of them caught you, or even better yet, if it triggered a thought in your mind, take notes on your thoughts in your mind, because that's going to sound like you when it comes back out of you. But these little phrases that we do, not just another thing, one thing that changes everything, removing the stumbling blocks so that all the building blocks can go together right. You know, what Dave said, look it up and type in heavy metals behind it and see if the answer isn't always yes, it's going to help. So these preparing you for your next conversation is maybe one of the most important things we could do when we're together with you like this morning.
all right, let's go do this.
Hey, and for everybody who recognizes this one from Dave, because, you know, this is fun. You do this.
Wow.
There you go. He does a pretty good Dave imitation.
Yes, he does.
I think a lot of people are picking it up.
If we do this, then everybody joins.
All right.
Thank you so much for having us this morning. It's been fun.
Sure love you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Love you too.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Valerie. Hi, Valerie.
Hello.
Hey, Val, there she is.
Come on up, Valerie.
Oh, I'm just right here.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.